Went to a big social event over the weekend and it left me with some really confusing feelings. I want to share what happened, how it felt, and how alexithymia shows up in my life as an autistic person. This is quite a personal video, so it might have a bit less structure, a bit more freeform to it, but I just really wanted to share this and to get this off my chest. Hello there, I'm Autist Brit. I was diagnosed as autistic at the age of 37. I'm still learning what autism means for me and I make content about my journey. So first, what is alexithymia? Alexithymia is a personality trait characterized by difficulty in identifying, understanding, and expressing one's own emotions, often accompanied by externally oriented or orientated, if you're British, thinking, and a struggle to distinguish feelings from physical sensations. Alexithymia simply means no words for emotions. This is also very common for autistic people, with the stats and the ranges differing from 40% to up to 85% of autistic people have alexithymia. So with that brief description, let's go on to the event. So this was a social event that I was attending. I knew that there would be a lot of people, and we had an especially warm evening in the UK, and it's a big venue. It's big inside and it has a small outside area. So naturally, everybody was in this small outside area, me included, because I find inside too cramped, too noisy, and it was also too loud. But now, because of how warm it was a summer evening, this was reversed. Now outside, where I usually am, to find some sort of comfort and quiet, was now insanely packed, busy and loud and just chaotic. I did try to prepare for this event because I knew it was coming up, and I always do better if I have some time beforehand to prepare. So I prepared knowing that there was going to be a lot of people, it was going to be busy, it was going to be loud. However, my expectation was kind of flipped. I thought I could go outside and have a bit more space and quiet to myself, and it would be my safe place if I needed to escape. Now, the outside was incredibly busy, and the inside was less busy, less people. However, it's still, it was like loud music and bright lights. So inside was less people, but it wasn't any better in terms of sensory overload happening. So how did I manage this? I felt proud of myself, actually. It was really social and I struggle with group dynamics, so I know that I didn't do particularly well in terms of group dynamics. But I'm still proud of myself because I spoke to a lot of people. I really took things at my own pace. I allowed myself to unmask a bit. If I needed to process things for a longer amount of time, I didn't feel awkward. I didn't feel like I have to come up with an answer right now. I was fine with just letting a few seconds pass and just thinking and just letting my slow processing time exist as it does. I just went at my own speed. And that was a conscious decision, and I was really proud of that. There were a few times as well where I purposefully took some time for myself. I'd say to people, you're really nice, I'm sorry, we're having a good conversation, but I just need a moment to myself, so I'll be back soon. And I would try to find somewhere quieter. I mean, it was difficult because everywhere was a bit chaotic. But I'm just proud that I noticed that for myself, and this is more of a different topic, it's more unmasking. It's deliberate. And I noticed these things in myself and I took the time for myself when I needed it. And I was just really proud actually of how I handled things, especially in terms of a social setting. I think I did very well for me. The aftermath of this was when all of the emotions kicked in and it was all a bit overwhelming and intense. So I came home and I had a bit of a rest and I tried to unwind and just calm down from all of the chaos and the energy and the madness. And I just felt myself like tearing up and just getting that weird feeling, sinking feeling in your stomach. And I just started crying. And I really didn't understand why at the time. I was like, okay, I felt like I was doing well. I was really proud of myself for how I handled things socially. And then I was just crying and it was happening and I couldn't really stop it. And I didn't know why. I just didn't understand what I was feeling or why I was feeling it. It felt like I was a spectator to it almost. It was happening. I didn't have any control over it. I just had to allow it to happen. How does it feel? It's just a real mismatch and disconnect between physical reactions like, crying and exhaustion and emotional awareness. Sometimes it really does feel like the emotion's happening and I'm just really disconnected from it. I don't know why, but it's just happening. But it's also just a really strange disconnect because it's also intense, which is the opposite of a disconnect. Like I feel it really intensely. I'm just disconnected to the reason, I suppose, the reason why this is happening. I have moments where I get upset or I'm just really irritable and it's just difficult to put my finger on it. I really just don't understand, and it's really disorientating actually to be so disconnected from your emotions that are physically happening right now, and it's intense, but you just have no idea why. It's also frustrating because I can't even name the feeling for myself. I'll be there like, what am I actually feeling right now? Am I crying because, people can cry if they're happy. They can be emotionally overwhelmed in a good way. People can cry through frustration, through exhaustion, anger, so many things. And I'm just unable to name the emotion that I'm currently feeling. So it's this odd mixture of, it just feels kind of alien, disconnected, but also super intense. I did find some coping strategies for this though. I had a few things that really worked. Some things have just been a pattern actually that I've noticed helped me specifically. So I know everybody's different, but just sharing this experience, hopefully it can help someone else, and perhaps someone else will think, oh, I haven't tried that, maybe that'll work for me. Who knows? I'm just sharing my personal experience. Taking some quiet time after social events can definitely help, and just giving yourself permission to feel these things without clarity is really important. Like, it's okay to be feeling these things and to not quite understand them. So just try to be more compassionate and that's what I do for myself, and I found it really helps. Just give myself permission to allow this all to happen. And I know it's confusing. I'm saying this to me. I know it's confusing. But you don't need the extra battle of the clarity on top of it. Why am I feeling this? We're already having a difficult time. Just be okay with it happening and just let it happen. Don't add that extra pressure of needing to understand it and needing the clarity straight away. The thing that really helps me actually, and this has helped me just generally in my life, and even more so after my diagnosis, is just writing things down. As autistic people, I think we just have so much going on in our minds at all times. And these are abstract thoughts. And there's something about taking the abstract thought in your mind and writing it down and putting it on paper and making the abstract concrete. There's something really just therapeutic in that action in itself. And you can really bring some structure to things. You can think, okay, I felt this. Why do I think I felt this? And you can really just... It does feel like a form of self-therapy for me, at least. I can really walk myself through these things. And I can also just slow the velocity of everything. I think that really helps. Just the action of getting this out onto the paper, it just really slows the racing nature of the autistic mind. So that's what I did. I wrote a lot of things down. I wrote the good, the positive, and the solutions that I could possibly employ or use. And just taking that intentional, structured thought process it's been so valuable for me. And I was also just proud of myself after that process. I really helped to just declutter my mind and to try and understand why I was feeling these things. And I figured out that I was crying and I was upset simply because of the sensory overwhelm of all of it, which is completely understandable. But this isn't really clear at the time. This isn't something that can be completely obvious. So it was loud, it was bright, it was so much social pressure and expectation. And even though I felt proud of myself and I was happy with it, that sensory overload and damage, perhaps, I'm not sure of the right word, was still under the surface. I'd still been really bombarded by so much social expectation and energy, and someone comes this way and says hi, and when I'm talking to them, the group dynamics change, and this person speaks, and there's a bright light, and there's a noise and music, and someone drops a drink, and I think you can get the idea. It was very chaotic. So in reflection, sadly, this is probably something that a lot of autistic people will have a constant battle with for maybe forever or maybe for many years, just like unmasking. But I really hope some of the strategies that I mentioned can be helpful for people. And like I've said in previous videos, trial and error can also just be very helpful. If you're not sure what to do, just try things. Who knows what will work? We're all different, we're all unique, and we all have different ways of dealing with things and processing. If you have also experienced this, I would really like to hear your comments and thoughts, and especially how you make sense of it, because this is such a higher prevalence in autistic people, 40 to 85%. So sharing knowledge is helpful for everyone. Thank you for watching. If you're also autistic, late diagnosed, or just curious, please consider subscribing for more videos about being a late diagnosed autistic adult. I won't cry for the outro, I promise. Thank you so much for listening. I super appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.